and Sembia Ekoso Ewa Nigeria na has got to do with terrorism near the idea and Delbeti Boko Haram na ye chia sofo ni ye kidnapping ni ye kumo mo any idea US President Donald Trump and asabre they were taking swift measures mene wo say die entia ebane HSM military a free US troop akwako piemu ewo Nigeria mino emwa enyasem ketwa. And this has got to do with the fact that Trump has always spoken about a terrorist attack in Africa, and Nigeria happens to be one of the African countries ban terrorism and the Boko Haram, and Christians are not having the freedom necessary. Obetiane say ekuo bi ewa sorry dem a omosom nyamea pew na chese yato akwakosho omoso eni ade obetiane say yakoche sofo bi yamia no kon yaye ni say and you realize that the attack is growing day by day and no ena mene wo eka saying routers one of can say the writing sites what Ghana hanum say wo mode omunsembi ababeto emonten so efa kwanya President Donald Trump efa so did some military force ekopiemu ewo Nigeria, and we shall say US military says some forces have been dispatched to Nigeria. International say US military no amwakasa no ma be declare say wo mo edu wo troops ni bi akwakopiemu ewo Nigeria mine emu. Now I'm sure a lot of people will be asking the questions about DMPANA US military ekwakoye ewo Nigeria. Now if you take a thorough reading into and somewhere Reuters for Edebeto Mountain, so I will say the US has sent a small team of troops to Nigeria. The general in charge of the US Command for Africa said on Tuesday the first acknowledgement of US forces on the ground since Washington struck by air on Christmas Day. Into Wamuchema, the general wada the US military command that no edema Africa no and edebetu just say US forces sabre there womo akwa hit ground womo elko Nigeria. I mean they are in Nigeria, a troop be small team kakra akwa kopiemu ewo Nigeria. Or say President Donald Trump ordered airstrikes on what he described as Islamic State targets in Nigeria in December and said there could be more US military actions there. Into Ochema, somewhere in December, no, and President Donald Trump, Ede Ebetu just say, Oko Nigeria mine mwa, ye no Muslimi for na honomono. Womu die Christopher ne wo ni papa enti ehube hia se US asrafo ebekwa akopie mu ewo Nigeria na saade we omatimi abrenase. Or say Reuters earlier reported that the US had been conducting surveillance flights over the country from Ghana since at least late November. And no an watch say every November busome na wie ni mo baby ena US for say womo conduct surveillance omo de mani to form omo de omo akasa bi be kasa kra omo use drones ni ade planes ni ade efefemu ewo ewiemu through Ghana omo wo Ghana na omo sa ade no just to know how things are going. What you say Nigeria mine even before say omo be strike omo strike. So the top general said the US team was sent after both countries agreed that more needed to be done to combat the terrorist threat in West Africa. And to general what that US troop na no ewo West Africa no ebetire mu say omasha ehunu say terrorism ya dia ha dwene ewo ebibiman Africa hanum say ya wo mo nso aye krado say ompese wo mo ye omafemu die bia wo mo betimi say de be ya omo ebetimi esi ano kwan ewo Africa. Also that has led to increased collaboration between our nations to include a small US team that brings some unique capabilities from the United States. General Dagvin R.M. Anderson, head of the U.S. military's African Command, AFRICOM, told journalists during a press briefing on Tuesday into a chema say because of that no US for army ene eye other nations to say Ghana ni ade ena omo aka omo ho abom se de be ya womo ebetimi abre sa terrorist attack ne ase ewo Africa. Or say Anderson did not provide further details about the size and scope of their mission. Into a chema Yera Anderson assemble de waka nanso wandom suko amomo ahu se o ade ne ye be ya kosi sei ana ye call my ABC di so ye fi Nigeria be ko ha na wan kire mu sa internet so timu sa adwuma no aye coded bi sa no ena omo eye no. So Defense Minister Christopher Musa confirmed that a team was working in Nigeria but did not provide further details. Into sabre de Nigeria ena womo troop no ewo sese am womo bom homodin pa se eyesa ISIS fo ni akayi dai ni ade nyina no yebetimi etu o mase ewo Nigeria oman no emu. A former US official said the US team appeared to be heavily involved in intelligence gathering and enabling Nigerian forces to strike terrorist affiliated group into omutrema US troopers abre omo Nigeria no omo de omo ni atofoma omo ye omo nhwehwemu ni ade a eno abo omo hu kwanyo befa so a omo edisa amambo fokuei ene terrorist foi omo ede omo ebefa so ewo Nigeria mind emo. So Nigeria has come under intense pressure by Washington to act after President Trump accused the West African nation of failing to protect Christians from Islamist militants operating in the northwest. Into a chema Nigeria there a free bra Mampeni Trump ekasaye edefa ekwan bonia yenuanu muslimi fo ede Christopher wo hone efa so no se emuto ebojaden ye bomuto jaden den se omobetimi esisa ade no anokwan ewo Nigeria. So the Nigerian government denies any systematic persecution of Christians, saying it is targeting Islamist fighters and other armed groups like that attack both Christian and Muslim civilians. Into muchema Nigeria for beka se ayin obi antete Christopher ho na mom enkofo bi ho no ma omo tete Islamic for no ni Christopher no mo san kofo no ma target se o me hye o maseni ade o se Boko Haram and Islamic State West Africa province fighters have intensified attacks on military convoys and civilians, and the northwest remains the epicenter of the 17 years Islamist insurgency. International muchema Boko Haram no eni ekuo bia omunso etutrasem wo mu hu ebo mu bie no wo mo egusu a womo attack military convoys ne sebetimemufo binuma ewo ho no womo attack womo sabre de omo hwe so womo bebre enu nso ase ewo ho. Also the US military's Africa command said the strike was carried out in Sokoto state in coordination with Nigerian authority and killed multiple ISIS militants. Into muchema womo koye no ba bia omadi kan akoye ho adwuma Sokoto state na ho na omatimi ekum ISIS fonimu bi kakra womo guso omadwuma. So the strike came after Trump in late October began warning the Christianity faces as existential threat in Nigeria and threatened to militarily intervene in the West African country over what he says it is a failure to stop violence targeting Christian communities. Enti na chese Donald Trump eni abre se ye etutrasem attacks ni nyama hodua ekoso ewo Nigeria man no womo ebetimi ama eto aba ewieye. This is a good move ebi moni age ho pa say at least Christians in Nigeria no will be safe. Onkotena sorry dem ema obi enkoto nhye ne so onkotena sorry dem ema yembeku no sofo bi nko number bi ne yenche no enkidnap no afi ebe wiase ne yense sofo no yekum no aba beto atwene we nyina eto ebeba ewieye. Ebusia yebekọ so di sansem we echi na ye de ho amane mo abremu. Now ensem ba ko a